And a major point that I take with my clients when we are accessing the possibility of investing the money and the person never got any type of investment in the first place. The first thing that I do with them is actually simulation in which I show them what happens to the money if it's staying as cash in their bank. Okay, so they get to understand. Let's say in 10 years they lose 30% of the money by the normalized rate of money devaluation, which is like 3% per year. So it gets to 30% in 10 years. But realistically, it can be even more or less. So the reality is not the normalized rate. For example, in inflation years, in Portugal, we got in 2 years 20% inflation. Okay, so it was something like 8 in one year and 12 in the other year, or whatever. I don't know the numbers like in my head exactly, but the point is, if in 2 years you can get a 20% inflation, if you get a frame of 10 years, just getting with those two in the middle, you're gonna get more than 30% in 10 years for sure. Okay, so realistically speaking, this is a certainty that you have when you have your money as cash, is that the money is just disappearing. And that's why you have situations that people tend to look upon, like hearing, for example, your grandmother or your grandmother telling that at that point of time you could have bought a house by the price of something like 10 euros. Okay, and it sounds insane, but it's the truth. Okay, there's people calling out for the same situation in the United States. They could have bought a house some years ago. They could have got a house paid in cash if you have saved 3 months of what you get on work. And today you can't do this. It's impossible. Like in 3 months, you can never get to buy a house if you save all the money. So, as you understand, the money is just flowing down over time. If you get your money or your wealth stored as money, it's just going like it's being flushed out. You're losing it. So, this is what you have granted, okay? So after you understand this is the certainty you have, it's pretty much what happens to every single person that has cash stored. You can even get a better perspective on the investments, because now the investments, it applies its certain risk, of course, right? But if you do the right strategy, that it's essentially what we do. It's a long-term strategy and diversified enough that allows you to never compromise the money entirely. Like you're playing on a odds of, let's say, 10 companies, you're playing on a odds of if 20% of the companies eventually succeed, your money spikes up in 10 years way more than you can get on a 40-year of a career. Okay? And pretty much every single career you cannot get as much. Okay? So this is facts. This is why you have people around my age that are so wealthy. You see them on Bugattis, you see them on Lambos, you see them with huge mansions, you see them traveling pretty much every single time all around the world. This is why these people can get so rich. It's just because they understood how the game is played, and they took the risk and they invested on either early stage companies or cryptocurrencies. But cryptocurrencies in early stages just works exactly like a startup. So it's a place where you don't have as much money invested. It's an early stage, either crypto or company. It's pretty much like a crypto is like a startup. Okay, so it has his own specific thing, is usage. There's a narrative around the startup as well as on the crypto. And then it may succeed or not. Okay, so you just put some money there, and because there's only a few amount of money on that pocket, when the pocket starts to fill up because more people understand it's actually a good space to invest, and the price keeps growing and growing, you can get so rich in like 10 years you could never get from work. So that's why this is happening.